Hi, this is Yvonne McNary with Central Kentucky Television, and this is National Crime Prevention Month. And who more fitting to tell us about crime prevention this morning than Chief Wally Brady?
Thank you.
Good
Thank
morning.
you. Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, indeed. Crime prevention, that's something you know a lot about, isn't it?
Well, we've dealt with crime prevention for several years. I've been in law enforcement 32 years, so I've kind of dealt with it for 32 years. So, it's something we deal with from a day-to-day, month-to-month basis.
Okay. Well, this is National Crime Prevention Month, and we want to make sure that our viewers out there are safe, and they know, and if you can give us a few tips on some things that'll make us more crime-proof.
Yeah, no problem. But when you talk about crime prevention, it's a broad perspective. I mean, there's crime prevention around the home. There's crime prevention, like we include like your vehicles. There's crime prevention tips that you can use, like for trick-or-treating. We are in the trick-or-treating month.
Yes, we are.
So it's a crime prevention in general is a broad perspective. But what I would suggest that they suggest anymore is if your valuables, it's just to start at home.
Okay.
You take your valuables at home. I would take a video camera and walk through my home and videotape everything in my home. In case my home is ever broken into, then you'll have a recorded record of everything in your home. Because I'm gonna tell you what, when something like that happens, it's hard to remember everything that you got in your house but with a video recording of everything you own inside your home and on your property, it's a lot easier to refer back to and remember. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I had a VCR there, and it's just easier to remember. A lot of times they used to recommend that you put on every valuable item, inscribe on it your total Social Security number. I think they've kind of got away from that a little bit more.
I don't think that's a good idea.
No. What they do suggest is maybe put the last four numbers of your Social Security number on there, and maybe like your initials, your initials, and your last four numbers of your Social Security number. And that's what I would consider doing. Or they could even put their initials and their date of birth. That's an idea to use. Just something that if we find that item, that when we let the public know that we found some items in a burglary or something, then what we can do is put it out to the public. And if somebody's got some items stolen, well then, if it's got their date of birth and their initials on it, or their initials and their last four numbers of Social Security, it's easily identified. Because anybody calls in here and they want something, or we have something that we may have recovered, first thing that we're going to ask, well, describe it for me. Is there any marks on that item that would make it stand out different than any other item? And they say, oh yeah, I had my initials and my birth date on it, or I had my initials and my last four numbers of my Social Security number on it. So something that sticks out, so it can be easily identified. And that even comes into play, like if people pawn items, if they have it pawned and it's got maybe their initials or something like that, something that's identifiable that makes it stick out. But if you have a weapon, anybody that has any handguns or rifles or long guns, anything like that, I would definitely take a piece of paper, write down the model, the make, and the serial number. Write that down and put it in a bank deposit box or a safe at home or somewhere where it's safe that only you have access to it. The reason for that is if that item ever gets stolen, then you have a way to identify it, because it has a serial number on it. And even on some of your home items, you might even just write the serial number down rather than go to putting down your initials and your Social Security number or something like that. That would only be for items where that you wouldn't have a serial number or something to refer back to.
Okay,
but it makes it easier to identify.
It does. Listen, I know we just had ham days and we had a lot of runners in town. A lot of people, and I know that a lot of our locals were in ham days, Pokey Pig race as well, and they practice at all hours. They train going up and down our streets.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of preventative tips can you give them?
I would say run against traffic.
Okay.
That way, the reason that being, and wear light colored clothing. And the reason I say run against traffic is if it's nighttime and I see somebody running against traffic, I'm more apt to see them, and then the runner can see them too. If it looks like the vehicle is not going to move over, then that gives the runner a chance to make an evasive action to either get up on the sidewalk or get out of the way. But I would definitely suggest that they wear very light reflective clothing. And the reason I say that is because I see people out here running at times. In fact, I saw one this morning running down the sidewalk, and he had a dark navy shirt on and dark shorts. I barely did see him, you know. So if they wear a white T-shirt, a bright orange T-shirt, a lime green T-shirt, something real bright that sticks out, even tennis shoes, wear bright orange, bright lime green tennis shoes, something of that nature that sticks out, that's easily, that a driver can easily see. Even if it's daylight, if you're not paying a lot of attention, a driver, you can be easily distracted and not even see that person just because of what the clothing they're wearing. So always wear reflective clothing, bright colored clothing, something that sticks out, especially at night, and I would suggest wear it in the daytime too.
Okay. What about our kids? I know we always want to keep our kids safe. You know, is there some tips we can, you know, like even when you take your kids out shopping, mom is sometimes with them, but sometimes the kids sort of go in different directions?
Yeah, that right there especially, it's best that mom or dad keeps them close to them. I know whenever I go to Walmart or Dollar Store or somewhere like that, and I have my grandkids with me, I always keep them close by. And if they're not close by, they're within, I can see them. You know, they're not out of my sight, so I can keep them close by. But one thing I would suggest is that parents have a little code word or something like that the children can holler, that if somebody grabs them, they can start screaming or hollering. Well, naturally gonna holler mama or nana or papa or daddy or whoever. But if they, you know, if they holler a code word or they holler, that lets them know that they're in trouble and they need help.
Yeah,
but the best thing is the kids try to keep the children close to you, or at least in a view of you, because I'm telling you what, this day and time you never know.
No.
And just because it's small town Lebanon doesn't mean stuff like that cannot happen, because it will.
Okay. Maybe you can give us some ideas of some things that have been going on recently that maybe you can give us some ideas as to how to protect ourselves?
Yes. We have been receiving a lot of complaints or calls about vehicles getting broken into. And I think every year about this time I start telling people to make sure when you get out of your vehicle, lock your vehicle, make sure you take the keys and put the keys in your pocket. But when you lock your vehicle, a lot of people are leaving valuables inside the vehicle. And the one thing you're trying to avoid is this one word, opportunity. And so if you take your valuables, your cash, your laptop, computers, anything of value, make sure you put it out of sight. Best thing to do is put it in the trunk and then lock your car up. But we've had vehicles broken into. There's laptop computers laying in the seat. There's cash laying in the seat. Anything of value. And again, when people are out doing these type of crimes, they're looking for opportunity. And so when I look over in a car and I see a laptop computer, hey, that's opportunity. Sure. I can take that and sell it on the street and make a little bit of money and then go buy what I want, you know. Or if I look in the car and I see cash, I can go and take that cash and buy what I want, you know. So take those items of value and put them out of sight. We're getting close to the holiday season.
Yes, we are.
So with that being said, again, the same thing applies. If you go Christmas shopping and you buy a bunch of items, best thing to do is take them out your car, lock them in your trunk. Don't put them in the back seat, because if someone sees you at a distance, put like a big TV or something like that in your trunk or inside your vehicle. What'll happen is when you go back in the store, well, while you're gone, that 10, 15, 20 minutes you're gone, somebody's going to see it as an opportunity, and they're going to break into your car and steal that.
Yeah.
And but you know, Walmart has video surveillance cameras. That works good. A lot of places, a lot of homes have burglar alarms and surveillance cameras. When you're out shopping during the holiday season, make sure that you park in a well-lit area.
Okay.
You know, I always tell people to make sure their doors are locked. People that has key fobs, if you look on your key fob, it'll have a red button, which is a panic button. If for some reason you're walking your car and someone tries to attack you or something, you can push that panic button, and what you're trying to do is draw attention to yourself, and don't be afraid to yell, scream, and holler. because that draws more attention to someone. And if you're walking to your vehicle and somebody's following you, there's nothing wrong with you turn around and say, "Can I help you? Do you need something?" And what that does, you're calling that person out, and a lot of times they'll run away from you.
Okay. Now, Chief, we like you said earlier, we're running into that Halloween.
Yes.
Halloween
Yes.
is coming
Yes.
up here. Some things for our kids and for adults to be safe. I know I've seen some adults have a lot of face makeup and all that, and faces and eyes are covered and trip and fall.
Yeah, that's exactly right. One thing about the even adults and the kids, whenever they dress up for Halloween, make sure their costume is not too long, because that gives you something to trip on and fall. And when you fall, you can hurt yourself. Make sure they wear a mask that they can see clearly through. And best thing instead of a mask is use face paint is what I would suggest, because a mask is it obscures your vision if you're not careful.
Right.
Sometimes it's a little bit harder to breathe with a mask on. So I would suggest face painting. I know a lot of people wants to wear the mask. That's fine, but then adults need to understand that we have a city ordinance that if you're over a certain age, you can't wear a mask. You know, only I think Halloween is about the only time you can wear it. So you need to be aware of that, because we're hearing a lot of complaints on the news about clowns.
Yes.
So if you're out there and you want to wear a mask, be very cautious wearing it in the city limits of Lebanon, because we have a ordinance against that. So make sure that, especially if you're an adult, children it's okay, but adults you can't be wearing masks. I think you can wear a mask on Halloween for a certain period of time. I don't have the ordinance in front of me, so I don't have it right in front of me. But I'll get back with me and I'll let you know. Another thing, whenever you're trick or treating, walk on the right side of the road. Walk on the sidewalk. If a sidewalk is not there, then walk as far to the far right of the street as you can. Carry a glow stick, a flashlight, something, wear light reflective clothing, something that can be seen. It's the same thing for the runners. You want to make sure you wear light colored clothing that you can be seen, because the main thing, we want you to go out, have fun, get all the candy you want, and go home safely. And enjoy the holidays and enjoy your family.
Yes, indeed. Well, listen, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief Brady, for talking to us today.
No problem. I enjoyed talking to you, and anytime you want to stop by and talk, we'll talk again.
Okay. And for our viewers out there, if you've got questions about what's going on, or you just need some information, hey, come talk to Chief Wally.
Call me. I'm in the office. I'll be here. I'm usually in the office from like 7:30 in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning to about 4:30, 5 o'clock. Give me a call.
We certainly will. Thank you again.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
This has been Yvonne McNary for Central Kentucky Television.